Value your worth from within. Valuing your worth from within means recognizing that your self-esteem isn't dependent on others' approval or validation. It's easy to measure our worth based on external markers, what others say about us, whether we're meeting societal standards or how much validation we receive from friends, family, or even strangers. But relying on external affirmation is like building a house on sand. It can shift and crumble the moment others' perceptions change. True worth comes from knowing who you are beyond the surface. It's rooted in self-awareness, a deep understanding of your values, your unique qualities, and your strengths. When you see yourself clearly, both the areas where you shine and the parts that are still growing, you create a foundation that's resilient to others' opinions. Recognizing your worth from within also involves acknowledging your inherent dignity and value as a person, independent of achievements, roles, or social status. It's about honoring the experiences that have shaped you, the growth you've gone through, and the qualities that make you unique. This means being gentle with yourself in moments of struggle and showing up for yourself when things are tough, knowing that your worth doesn't fluctuate based on momentary successes or setbacks. Building this inner sense of worth often requires unlearning beliefs that link self-worth to external success or others' praise. It might mean challenging inner narratives that suggest you're not enough until you achieve or become something different. Embracing your worth from within is about redefining success and failure, understanding that both are simply parts of the human journey, rather than measures of your value. It allows you to engage with the world from a place of confidence and security, knowing that your value is something you carry with you, not something that anyone else can give or take away. Embrace imperfection as your superpower. Embracing imperfection as your superpower is about seeing your flaws, quirks, and vulnerabilities as unique parts of your identity rather than limitations. In a world that often celebrates polished, curated images of success and flawlessness, showing up as your imperfect self can feel radical. But it's in those very imperfections that authenticity, relatability, and real connection are born. When we accept our imperfections, we acknowledge that we are fully human, allowing others to see us as we are rather than a projection of who we think we should be. Imperfections invite us to step into our true selves without the exhausting need to be constantly perfect. They make room for self-compassion, helping us treat ourselves with the same kindness we'd extend to a close friend. By embracing these parts of ourselves, we release the shame that often comes with perceived flaws, allowing us to see them not as defects to hide, but as facets of our uniqueness. These imperfections often hold valuable lessons and experiences that shape our character, teaching us resilience, humility, and empathy. Setting boundaries as acts of self-love means recognizing your own needs, limits, and emotional well-being as essential parts of a healthy, balanced life. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out, but about preserving the space within yourself to feel safe, respected, and fully present. They create a framework that helps you protect your energy and mental health, allowing you to show up authentically in relationships without sacrificing parts of yourself to please others. When you set boundaries, you're honoring yourself by acknowledging what feels right or wrong for you, even if it's uncomfortable to communicate. Boundaries give you permission to say no when something doesn't serve you, and yes to the things that align with your values and goals. They help prevent burnout and resentment, as they ensure that you're not constantly overextending yourself to meet the demands or expectations of others at the expense of your own well-being. Setting boundaries lets you establish the terms of how you want to be treated, reinforcing that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable and worth protecting. Boundaries are also an essential part of self-respect. By defining what you will and will not accept, you communicate to yourself and others that your needs matter. This act of self-respect often strengthens relationships, as clear boundaries create a sense of trust, honesty, and mutual respect. People in your life come to understand and honor your limits, which allows for healthier interactions. Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about creating a sustainable balance in relationships where you can give and receive without feeling depleted or compromised. Practicing boundaries as acts of self-love often means developing the courage to prioritize your own needs, even when it's challenging. It involves letting go of guilt or fear of disappointing others and recognizing that taking care of yourself is not selfish but necessary. Over time, this boundary setting becomes a powerful reminder of your worth and a practice of self-care that allows you to flourish. By investing in your own well-being, you ultimately have more energy and presence to share authentically with those around you. Practice the courage to stand alone. Standing alone often requires pushing back against the pressures of conformity or the desire to fit in. It involves being willing to say no to situations, relationships, or expectations that don't align with who you truly are. This choice can be difficult, as it might challenge your sense of belonging, but it also clarifies where your true values lie. By standing firm in your convictions, you begin to develop a stronger sense of identity and purpose, one that isn't easily swayed by changing opinions or external influences. When you practice the courage to stand alone, you empower yourself to listen deeply to your own intuition and inner voice. This courage allows you to become your own guide, navigating life on your own terms instead of seeking validation or direction from others. As you develop this inner guidance, you cultivate self-assurance and a sense of wholeness that sustains you through uncertainty and change. It encourages you to trust in your own experiences, even when others might not understand or agree, and to honor the unique path that is yours to walk. Building this courage also means accepting that you won't always please everyone, and that's okay. It's about embracing the understanding that the people who genuinely resonate with your true self will support you, even when you take an unconventional stance. Standing alone becomes less about separation and more about clarity, knowing who you are and what you stand for, regardless of the noise around you. Let go of the myths of control. Letting go of the myths of control involves releasing the belief that we can manage or dictate how situations, people, or outcomes will unfold. It's common to feel that with enough effort, we can control the trajectory of our lives, mold others' perceptions, or prevent disappointment and pain. But clinging to this illusion of control often leads to unnecessary stress, anxiety, and frustration when things inevitably don't go as planned. Letting go of this myth doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens. Rather, it's about embracing the reality that some things are simply beyond our influence and that we can thrive even when life is unpredictable. When we try to control outcomes or people, we often limit our own growth and stifle the natural flow of life. Trying to control others' actions or responses, for example, places an undue burden on ourselves and can create tension in relationships. It's exhausting to manage not only our own expectations, but also those of everyone around us. Letting go of control frees us from this weight, allowing us to focus on what we can manage: our own responses, choices, and attitudes. It shifts our focus inward, helping us develop resilience and flexibility rather than being tethered to external factors that are often beyond our reach. Releasing control also means embracing uncertainty and learning to find peace in it. Instead of constantly planning or worrying about what's next, we begin to develop trust in our own ability to adapt to whatever comes. This acceptance allows us to be more present, open, and responsive to life as it is, rather than fighting to make it fit a certain mold. As we let go of control, we also let go of perfectionism, the idea that everything must go just right for us to feel fulfilled. In doing so, we free ourselves from the burden of rigid expectations and create space for curiosity, creativity, and new possibilities that we might have missed in our quest for certainty. Letting go of control fosters deeper emotional resilience, as it encourages us to learn from and flow with challenges rather than resist them. By understanding that setbacks, change, and surprises are natural parts of life, we become more flexible and less attached to specific outcomes. This shift allows us to engage with life more fully, investing in our experiences without clinging to how things should be. Embracing this perspective brings a sense of calm and self-trust that empowers us to navigate even the most uncertain times with grace and confidence. Learn to sit with discomfort. Learning to sit with discomfort is about building the capacity to experience challenging emotions without rushing to escape, fix, or suppress them. In a world that often seeks quick solutions, instant gratification, and avoidance of pain, discomfort can feel like an unwelcome visitor. But discomfort is an inevitable part of life, arising in moments of growth, change, uncertainty, or self-discovery. When we allow ourselves to sit with it, we open the door to resilience, self-awareness, and deeper understanding of ourselves and our experiences. Rather than resisting or numbing uncomfortable feelings, sitting with them helps us process emotions in a healthy and constructive way. Sitting with discomfort means acknowledging difficult feelings like sadness, fear, frustration, or anxiety without judgment. Instead of labeling these emotions as bad or something to avoid, we approach them with curiosity and compassion. In doing so, we create a space where emotions can be felt fully, allowing them to pass naturally rather than intensifying them by fighting or avoiding them. This practice of non-judgmental awareness teaches us that emotions are temporary, part of a larger emotional landscape that includes both joy and pain. Sitting with discomfort also helps us recognize that these feelings, however intense, don't define us. They're experiences that we can move through and learn from. Building the ability to sit with discomfort also enhances our tolerance for vulnerability and uncertainty. Life is full of situations where we may not have all the answers or control, from taking a risk to navigating loss or change. Discomfort is often a companion to these moments, but it's also where courage, growth, and discovery live. When we can sit with discomfort, we develop a greater sense of inner strength as we realize that we can face difficult situations without losing ourselves. This resilience doesn't eliminate the discomfort, but it allows us to approach life's challenges with more patience and calm. Furthermore, learning to sit with discomfort frees us from the cycle of avoidance that can keep us stuck in old patterns. Avoidance often leads to short-term relief, but ultimately limits our ability to grow and expand our comfort zones. When we sit with discomfort, we disrupt this cycle, giving ourselves a chance to address fears, insecurities, or unresolved issues directly. This process can be transformative as it encourages us to engage with life more fully and to face fears rather than let them dictate our choices. Embracing discomfort as a normal, even valuable part of life allows us to build a more authentic and expansive sense of self, capable of embracing the full spectrum of human experience. Commit to radical authenticity. Committing to radical authenticity is the practice of showing up as your true self without masks or pretense and embracing who you are in every moment. It's about aligning your actions, words, and choices with your core values and beliefs, regardless of external expectations or pressures. Radical authenticity goes beyond simply being honest. It's a willingness to be fully seen, flaws and all, while refusing to mold yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. When you commit to radical authenticity, you choose to honor your unique identity and voice, even when it feels vulnerable or risky. Practicing radical authenticity requires self-awareness and a deep understanding of who you are and what matters to you. This journey often involves examining the beliefs, behaviors, and habits that you may have adopted to gain acceptance, approval, or validation from others. By peeling back these layers, you uncover your true essence and can begin to live in alignment with it. This self-discovery process often reveals the power of your voice, passions, and perspectives, enabling you to step into life with a clearer sense of purpose. Radical authenticity asks that you embrace this version of yourself fully, even if it means challenging societal norms or stepping out of your comfort zone. Living authentically also involves cultivating the courage to be open about your struggles, insecurities, and uncertainties. It's easy to hide behind a facade of perfection, or to present only the polished parts of yourself, but radical authenticity calls for a deeper level of vulnerability. By sharing your whole self, you not only allow others to connect with you on a more genuine level, but also give them permission to be real with themselves. Authenticity creates an atmosphere of acceptance and trust, fostering connections rooted in genuine understanding and empathy rather than surface-level appearances. Committing to radical authenticity means releasing the need for approval and focusing on self-acceptance instead. When you let go of seeking validation from others, you free yourself from the limitations of trying to be enough for everyone. This doesn't mean disregarding feedback or the perspectives of those you respect. Rather, it means that your self-worth isn't contingent on others' opinions. By grounding yourself in self-acceptance, you empower yourself to make choices that reflect your true desires, passions, and values. In this way, Radical, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this: embracing who you are, flaws and all, and honoring your unique voice, values, and path is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Living authentically may not always be the easiest road, but it's the one that leads to a life of purpose, connection, and peace within. So let's go forward with the courage to be true to ourselves, to set boundaries that honor our worth, and to remember that no one's opinions or judgments can define us. Let no one worry you. Stand tall in your truth, find strength in your journey, and trust that being authentically you is more than enough. Thank you.